So the information that I give that's of value to people is it lands in them with credibility.
Lands in the realm of credibility. Good. So now I want to open your eyes. Part of what I want to do is the opposite of that. Because having spent many years as a court jester and spoofing and presenting the extremes of human behavior way beyond what people would ordinarily allow, if we do the exact opposite of that, you'll find in the workbook, everyone, there's also a whole description of what we're about to do. It's extreme. So, watch what I say. So, it's okay, I wrote this. I don't have to read from it. Anyway, we want
You just wanted to create a storm in the corner.
a stormy moment. I remember one moment I was presenting for a group of national speakers in San Diego, and there was a photographer in the back that was videoing the event. And little did I know that the person who was sitting in front of him happened to be some kind of a private investigator who, when a moment happened, I was talking about it, we're going to find ways of being more electrifying in our presentation. The bulb fell out of the photographer's tools thing and landed and burned the guy's hair. It was an electrifying moment. I had to come out of that somehow. So yes. What is the worst that you could do to not have what you have to share land in people's lap? What's the opposite extreme if you could actually deliberately create that and get it out of the system?
Be very serious.
Right. So guess what we're going to ask you to do? Because you have that tendency, you can be really serious, I can see that. I want you to be, this is the Monty Python moment, everyone. This is for you to be more seriouser than seriouser, Alice in Wonderland. That feeling of, I'm going to give you some really important information here. In a way that we don't want to hear it, but just kind of, God, I can't wait, this guy's off stage. Something that exaggerates it. Really have fun with it. Ready, go.
There's something you all really need to know, and I'm the one who's going to tell you. Now, are you ready to listen? Get out your note paper. Come on. Everyone out with their note paper. Because if you don't get it, you'll really probably fail.
Okay, so now, what I've noticed in your doing that is, even though there's only a little bit of a tendency in that, we all have in us, all and everybody and everything, don't we? Did you notice that in that seriousness, there was also a quality of, I'm the one that knows and you don't. Right? I'm better than you better listen to me or else. So, let's give you permission to stand up in this chair with or without your shoes. You may have to shift the camera angle for this one.
Do you think I should take them off for the sake of the chair?
For the sake of the chair, yeah. And I'm going to hold the chair so you don't fall.
John. The real star wouldn't bother taking his shoes off.
Well, how about one shoe on and one shoe off?
John, hey John, you don't mind being filmed, do you? It's okay to film?
Go for it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, if there's anyone has a problem being videoed,
we
please
won't
speak
film.
up.
Yeah,
okay.
that's fine.
So now what we want is the same exact thing, but really come down upon it. You have to listen to me or you're nothing! In this type of energy. Really coming down. This is more than serious. This is dangerous. In fact, radical. Tyrannical. That's right.
What he said was completely right. You're nothing without the information I'm going to give you.
Oh.
Where's your note paper? You got your thinking caps on? Get real. No smiling. This is serious. You're smiling too. You'll fail. You've failed already.
Oh.
Okay, good. So you don't get a lot of that. We just want to get it out of the system. And hopefully out forever. But this is good that you're getting warmed up because we're just getting started with you. Now we want you to come underneath the chair. Did I say underneath the chair? Yes. And beg for our attention. You might have to stand up for this. Right.
Like this?
Well, it's not so much performing. I mean, really beg for our attention.
But you really want me under the chair?
Well, it could be back of the chair. Just as long as it's kind of like you're pleading for us. The opposite. The opposite of commanding, demanding, terrorizing is
Everybody, can you give me some of your attention for a second? I'll only take up a moment of your time. If you could just lend me your ears for. I've got something you may possibly be interested in. I mean, it's important to me. It might be important to you.
I could have stopped there. Now we want you to get on the chair and make the last time that you were tyrannical be like that was the meekest standing. Be like the meekest person on earth. And this one is the ruler of the other one that was standing there before. This one told the one before that was presenting as a tyrant everything he knew. So you're coming down like there's no tomorrow. Ready? Let us have it. Ready? More than you ever thought you could in your life up to now? Go!
There is no tomorrow without the information that I've got, you suckers, you losers. Your complete laughing is just this cover up your total inadequacy. The harder you laugh, the more inadequate you are, you completely worthless beings. Now listen up, because I've got something. You're failed. There's no chance. A lot of you, in fact. You're finished. A lot of you, it's all over. All over. I'm off the stage. They're failures.
Shake it off. Now the one before that was pleading, that one was the ruler of this one here who can barely even speak. It's so it's like you can barely even move, or might even be able to stutter a little bit. And look at this audience, try to look at this audience and ask, please, in whatever way you can. Go ahead.
I was just wondering if there'd be any chance, if there was any chance if I could, if you could listen, if I could say something just for a sec.
Okay, that's time to come in. Now what we're going to do is the best of both. Because there were elements, weren't there, of the energy of that one that was totally commanding. And there was energy in this one that was totally humble. And there was something, really vulnerable and incredibly human. You can have all your judgments about either one. Either one, in its extreme, was totally inappropriate. Yet the best of both, being on an equal level with the audience, with or without shoes, doesn't matter. Now our job is to use our seeing, our hearing, and our feeling to give tangible, physical, measurable feedback, empowering and nurturing ways to what John presents now as the best of both of those sides. Notice what shifts now.
I've had some experiences recently and over the period of my life that I'm really passionate about, and I'm on a bit of a mission to share that experience, those experiences, because I really think that they can make a difference. It's about innovation. It's about the place of innovation in the world to meet social and environmental challenges. And I think it's something. Well, let me ask, has anyone got any concerns in the social or environmental sphere?
Good stuff right there. We're not looking for perfection. We're not looking for getting it right. We're not looking to fix or be perfect here in any way. What, even in a tiny little bit of a way, was there an element of sharing passion, commitment, conviction, connection, tenderness that you saw, felt, heard? What did you notice, anyone? Giving John the comments in the following way: you, John, rather than he, John. So talking to John and receiving our feedback. Ooh, that's feedback. Yes, Jackie.
I felt that towards the end when you asked that question, I was more inclined to want to, whatever you built up by that stage, I felt inclined that I want to answer you. So, like the connection was that I was listening to what you were saying and responding to that. I think that was a difference. Rather than sit there and think, oh, shall I answer him? I felt more that time round, whether it's because we went through that exercise of knowing you better, I don't know, but I felt more tuned to want to answer you and be part of what you were saying.
Beautiful feedback. And one of the things to notice, no matter what your profile or combination of profiles might be, is that as a presenter, the participatory questions, whether or not people actually answer, turns what might otherwise be a lecture or talking down in an unconscious way, downloading information into a conversation of dialogue where we're all equals. We feel then, oh, I matter as an audience member as much as this presenter's downloading his important information to me. Creates a sense of mutual honoring, as you just mentioned. And in that feeling, the material, the information, is much more easily absorbed. I had the same feeling. Once the question was asked, suddenly you won my attention. And as Susan just demonstrated, you developed a rapport and connection and building a relationship. What other feedback?
I would say you developed some rapport instantly. This third go around, you smiled at us.
Beautiful.
And that's actually something for us all to know. A smile is one of the easiest and most beautiful ways of creating rapport. I was with you that time. The way I wasn't when you were talking at us.
Yes,
You were talking to us this last time around, and just reiterate that asking questions is much more involving.
To add to what Susan's saying here too, when you present, how often is it that we
Like that.
and allow not having to fill the space with content, with words, with the feeling I have to do something, I have so much information, otherwise I'm not going to consider that I'm worthy at all. That sense of just making, as you practice different forms of body awareness, you have a teacher of Shaolin, Tai Chi, and so on, all of this comes to a sense of presence. Emerson said what? Who you are. Speak so loudly, I can't hear a single word you have to say. Here, we do both. Who you are as you both allow your presence to precede anything you have to say, and words that match. Even more are you able to reach us. So you had that feeling of presence in your presentation before you said a word. Allow room for just the space of connection without having to speak. Good.
The other thing I would observe is I thought you brought in the humility really beautifully in the way you spoke about wanting to share your passion. Because that's something else. I think most human beings, when somebody is vulnerable enough to say, there's something passionate I want to share with you, it's almost an instant opener.
While we're talking about that, I'm going to keep doing this, adding to what each one of you says, because every person that gives feedback, you're presenting too. So we're working on a number of different angles here. In the 3 distinctions of the 3 V's of communication that hold up the pillar of communication, the verbal content of the words that Susan just mentioned, the vocal sounds in the voice, and the visual gestures, 7% verbal, 38% vocal, 55% visual, make so much more of the actual connection of what we remember in the message than just the information alone. If I were to take you further, either right now, as we probably have a little bit of time, or in a private one-to-one coaching, if you want to do stuff that's kind of outside of what you want other people to see, I would have the words innovation, which you talked about, be something you demonstrate more with your gestures. Because I felt that your gestures could be even more innovative. There was a somewhat of a self-composedness about composure with your gestures that I was feeling. Talk about innovation. I want to see you step out of the square in some way. Something like this. Stand up with me, everyone. I'll show you what I'm saying. Notice what happens when you say to yourself the following affirmation and then practice this in front of your audiences, all of us. As I move forward towards my audience, my audience moves forward to me.
My audience moves forward to me.
Exactly. So sit down.